सदसया ग्रस्तौ प्रमत्तौ सदा राधा पुण्यतटे कलिन्नतनया तीरे च वंशीवटे प्रेमनमाधवसादशेषदशया ग्रस्तौ प्रमत्तौ सदा।
Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 8, Offenses to be Avoided. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. First, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Sometimes the atheistic class of men take it that any demigod is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. But one who is a devotee knows that no demigod, however great he may be, is independently as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if someone thinks that he can chant Kali, Kali or Durga, Durga, and it is the same as Hare Krishna, that is the greatest offense. Third, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. Sixth, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Because by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from all kinds of sinful reactions. It should not be taken that one may continue to act sinfully and after that chant Hare Krishna to neutralize his sins. Such a dangerous mentality is very offensive and should be avoided. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities. Karma Kanda. 9th, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Anyone can take part in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but in the beginning one should not be instructed about the transcendental potency of the Lord. Those who are too sinful cannot appreciate the transcendental glories of the Lord, and therefore it is better not to instruct them in this matter. 10th, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names, and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Cida-Dahi Radha Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. It's Sunday, June 28, and welcome everyone to the reading of the Delhi edition of the Srimad Bhagavatam by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, founder and Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Hare Krishna movement or the Krishna Consciousness movement. For the benefit of those who may be joining for the first time or may be joining first on the live stream or other media, and a brief introduction. The class is being conducted by His Grace Yaśodā-nandana Dāsa, who is a senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He saw Srila Prabhupada as a teenager and soon joined the Hare Krishna movement in the 1960s. He received first initiation from Srila Prabhupada in August 1969. He was instrumental in funding the construction of 3 major temples along with Guru Kripa Swami and other devotees from the Namhatta party, for the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan, the Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir in Mayapur near Calcutta, West Bengal, and the Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan Temple in Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh. He traveled extensively throughout South India with Guru Kripa Swami in 1972 and 1973, and 1976 with Achyutananda Swami. He was also made in charge of the installation of the deities in the Hyderabad temple in 1976 and the temple in Fiji in 1977. In late 1976, Srila Prabhupada selected him to manage the Bhaktivedanta Swami Gurukul in Vrindavan. I see he hasn't joined yet, so I'm going to ask our other co-speaker, His Grace Ishan Prabhu, who is also a very senior disciple who joined very early in the 60s and had a lot of association with Srila Prabhupada. And he doesn't like to admit it, but he is our senior godbrother, and we value his association. I would also like to make a brief announcement that when we get to the question and answer session, if everybody could please state their question briefly and concisely. And we encourage everyone to take part in the question and answer session. There's no question that's not important, and we will do the best to try to address it as time permits in this 90-minute class. So I see Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu hasn't joined yet, so I would like to turn the class over to Ishan Prabhu. If you could please unmute your microphone. Go ahead, Ishan Prabhu. Unmute your microphone.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much. And where is the script? Will that be on the screen for me to read?
Are you talking about the celebrating Panihati Cida-Dahi Matsava?
Yes, I can. All I see is your good self on the screen, but and I don't know, I'm not computer very savvy.
I'll put that up on the screen after you do the show comments. Or would you like to go to the reading?
Whatever
Okay.
Whatever you feel is appropriate, I'll try and fill that seat. But I have no material or to read from.
Okay, I will first of all the pictures of the Panihati, and here they are. If you would like to come.
Okay, and let's see. Now, I cannot see anything really. Can that screen be expanded? I see the content shared. Oh, Yaśodā-nandana is here. He has entered the waiting room.
Okay.
Okay.
Should be
Should be
joining
joining
in
in
a second now.
now. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Yaśodā-nandana
Yaśodā-nandana
Prabhu, are you there?
I'm having
I'm having
difficulty with connecting. I can't seem to find a link anywhere by
by
email.
email.
I have a
I have
lot
a
of
lot-
limitations with this computer here. Plus, I've got about 8,000 emails in my HKS files. I can't go through 8,000 emails every Sunday. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just having a lot of connectivity issue and connection issues. Should we start?
Yes, Prabhu, I've already done the introduction and showing the pictures from the Panihati festival. If you'd like to comment on those first before we start reading the Panihati festival reading.
Okay, well, one point I want to make a little bit of an announcement here for everybody who is attending this is that Ram Raghava Prabhu is in charge of this class. Now, at the end of the class, we're trying to have a section of the class where people can ask questions. If people could please limit the questions to the subject matter that we're reading, as well as the text of the Bhagavatam, and if Ram Raghava Prabhu interrupts or gives any guidelines or requests for order, kindly oblige him, because he's in charge of managing the class and conducting everything in a reasonable way. So kindly oblige him with any of his requests. He's free to interrupt anytime. So today what we'll be doing is basically discussing the Snan Yatra ceremony, bathing of Lord Jagannath, as well as today is also celebrating the very special Vaishnavas, Kolavesa Sridhar and Sridhar Pandit. In other words, there's a lot of material to read, and what I will do is read a few selected portions regarding the bathing ceremony of Lord Jagannath, and then we will discuss a few issues regarding Panihati. Which one would you like to start, Ram Raghava Prabhu? The
Well, I have the
Panihati?
pictures of the Panihati festival ready
Okay,
first,
so
and then
we'll
the
start
reading
with
of
that.
the Panihati Mahotsava.
We'll start with that. Thank you very much for that. So this is a picture here of Lord Nityananda Prabhu with the blue dhoti, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to this festival, although very few people could see him, but Lord Nityananda Prabhu could. The Panihati is a location which is about 30, 40 miles north of Calcutta. And Lord Nityananda Prabhu came there, and Raghunath Das Goswami, who at that time was living with his parents, he arranged to organize a very big festival where they distribute chip rice and yogurt and all kinds of beautiful preparations. And thousands of Vaishnavas came there and everything. So this is a very, very special festival for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. This is a picture of Lord Nityananda, and Raghunath Das Goswami is paying his obeisances to Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And you see they have some chipped rice there. And all the Vaishnavas are paying obeisance. So this is a beautiful picture of Lord Nityananda, and Raghunath Das Goswami is paying his obeisances, touching Lord Nityananda's lotus feet, and all the Vaishnavas are there. That same location is still there. I believe that ISKCON has a center there, and every year they organize a very nice festival over there. So we will start reading. This is a picture of the tree and the actual platform there where Lord Nityananda came there. I think it's been renovated a few times since 500 years ago. Celebrating the Panihati festival. Oops, I think we lost the connection here. Rabuela Balikuli Oela Lukula Hala Manushya Barila Sabaki Bajala Stala. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The place called Panihati was located on the bank of the Ganges. After hearing that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had arrived, all kinds of men assembled both on land and on the water. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 16:203. Location of the village of Panihati. In the Gaur Ganadesha Dipika, verse 167, it is mentioned, Gunamala Vraje Yasid Damayanti tu Tatsvasa. The gopi named Gunamala appeared as Raghava Pandit's sister Damayanti. On the East Bengal railway line, beginning from the Shalda station in Calcutta, there is a station named Sodapura, which is not very far from Calcutta. Within 1 mile of this station, toward the western side of the Ganges, is a village known as Panihati, in which the residential quarters of Raghava Pandit still exist. On Raghava Pandit's tomb is a creeper on a concrete platform. There is also a Madan Mohan deity in a broken down temple nearby. This temple is managed by a local zamindar of the name Sri Shiva Chandarai Chaudhuri. Makarajvajakara was also an inhabitant of Panihati, from Adi Lila, chapter 10, text 25. Mahesh Pandit joined the festival performed by Nityananda Prabhu at Panihati. Mahesh Pandit Brajeru Dar Gopal Dhakavadin Nritya Kare Prema Matoyal. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Mahesh Pandit, the 7th of the 12 Gopalas, was very liberal. In great love of Krishna, he danced to the beating of a kettle drum like a madman. Purport. The village of Mahesh Pandit, which is known as Palapada, is situated in the district of Nadia within a forest about 1 mile south of the Cida-Dahi railway station. The Ganges flows nearby. It is said that formerly Mahesh Pandit lived on the eastern side of Jirat in the village known as Mashipura or Yashipura. When Mashipura merged into the riverbed of the Ganges, the deities there were brought to Palapada, which is situated in the midst of various villages such as Beladanga, Berigrama, Sukasagar, Chandute, and Manasapota. There are about 14 villages, and the entire neighborhood is known as Panchanagar Paragana. It is mentioned that Mahesh Pandit joined the festival performed by Sri Nityananda Prabhu at Panihati. Narottam Das Thakur also joined in the festival, and Mahesh Pandit saw him on that occasion. In the temple of Mahesh Pandit, there are deities of Gaura Nityananda, Sri Gopinath, Sri Madan Gopal, Madan Mohan, and Radha Govinda, as well as a Shaligram Shila. This was from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 11:32. A summary of this chapter is given by Bhaktivedanta Thakur in as Amrita Prabha Bhashya as follows. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went into transcendental fits of ecstatic love, Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar Goswami attended to him and satisfied him as he desired. Raghunath Das Goswami had been attempting to come to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for a long time, and finally he left his home and met the Lord. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had gone to Shantipur on his way to Vrindavana, Raghunath Das Goswami had offered to dedicate his life at the Lord's lotus feet. In the meantime, however, a Mohammedan official, trying to catch up here. A Mohammedan official became envious of Hiranya Das, Raghunath Das Goswami's uncle, and induced some big official court minister to have him arrested. Thus Hiranya Das left his home, but by the intelligence of Raghunath Das, the misunderstanding was mitigated. Then Raghunath Das went to Panihati, and following the order of Nityananda Prabhu, he observed the festival, Cida-Dahi Mahotsava, by distributing chip rice mixed with yogurt. The day after the festival, Nityananda Prabhu gave Raghunath Das the blessing that he would very soon attain the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After this incident, Raghunath Das, with the help of his priest, whose name was Yadunandana Acharya, got out of his house by trickery and thus ran away. Not touching the general path, Raghunath Das Goswami secretly went to Jagannath Puri. After 12 days, he arrived in Jagannath Puri at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is from Antilila, chapter 6. Now, in the considering the time schedule we have, I'm just going to read a few selected verses here, and then we'll go over to the Snan Yatra section. Panihati grame paila prabhur darashan, kirtaniya sevaka sange ar bahujan. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. In the village of Panihati, Raghunath Das obtained an interview with Nityananda Prabhu, who was accompanied by many kirtan performers, servants, and others. From Antya-lila, chapter 6, text 43. Gangatire vriksha mole pindarupare, vasya chena yena koti suryodaya kare. Sitting on a rock under a tree on the bank of the Ganges, Lord Nityananda seemed as effulgent as hundreds and thousands of rising suns. From Antya-lila 6:44. Taleu pare bahu bhaktahana che vishtita, deki prabhur prabhavara gunata vismita. Translation. Many devotees sat on the ground surrounding him. Seeing the influence of Nityananda Prabhu, Raghunath Das was astonished. Dandabat oinasi padila karadare, sevaka kahera gunata dandabat kore. Translation. Raghunath Das offered his obeisances by falling prostrate at a distant place. And the servant of Nityananda Prabhu pointed out, there is Raghunath Das offering you obeisances. Shuni Prabhu, from Antya-lila 6:46. Shuni Prabhu kahe chora dila darashan, ayaya jitora karaim yudhandana. Translation. Hearing this, Lord Nityananda Prabhu said, you are a thief. Now you have come to see me. Come here, come here. Today I shall punish you. From Antya-lila 6:47. Prabhu bolai tenho nikate nakare gaman, akarshyatan ramate Prabhu dharila charan. The Lord called him, but Raghunath Das did not go near the Lord. Then the Lord forcibly caught him and placed his lotus feet upon Raghunath Das's head. Kautuki Nityananda sahaje dayamai, Raghunati kahe kichu kahana sadai. Translation. Lord Nityananda was by nature very merciful and funny. Being merciful, he spoke to Raghunath Das as follows. From Antya-lila 6:49. Nikate noe shachora bhaga dure dure, ajilag panachi dhandi motomare. You are just like a thief, for instead of coming near, you stay away at a distant place. Now that I have captured you, I shall punish you. Antya-lila 6:50. Dadichida bakshan karaha moraghane, shunyanandito elara gunatamane. Make a festival and feed all my associates yogurt and chip rice. Hearing this, Raghunath Das was greatly pleased until 651. Cida-Dahi dugda sandeshar chini kala sabadravya anana chaudi ki dharila. Translation. Raghunath Das brought chip rice, yogurt, milk, sweetmeats, sugar, bananas, and other eatables and placed them all around. From until 653. Mahotsava namashuni brahmana sajan ashite lagila loka asankhya ganan. Translation. As soon as they heard that a festival was going to be held, all kinds of brahmanas and other gentlemen began to arrive. Thus, there were innumerable people until 654. Argramantara eti samagriyanila shatadui chariol natanhala anela. Seeing the crowd increasing, Raghunath Das arranged to get more eatables from other villages. He also brought 200 to 400 large round earthen pots. Wow. Until 655. Bada badamrit kondikana la panchasate eka vipra prabhulaki chida bajiatate. He also obtained 5 or 7 especially large earthen pots, and in these pots a brahmana began soaking chip rice for the satisfaction of Lord Nityananda until 656. Ika atani tapta dugde chida bijan ardeka chanila dadi china kala diya. Translation. In one place, chip rice was soaked in hot milk in each of the large pots. Then half the rice was mixed with yogurt, sugar, and bananas until 657. Arardeka ganabrita dugdete chanila, champakala chinigrita karpur tate dhila. The other half was mixed with condensed milk and a special type of banana known as champakala. Then sugar, clarified butter, and camphor were added until 658. Duti pari prabhu yadi pindate vashila, shatakundi vipratandra agete dharila. Translation. After Nityananda Prabhu had changed his cloth for a new one and sat on a raised platform, the Brahmana brought before him the 7 huge pots until 659. Chavutara upariyata prabhur nijagane, bada bada loka vashila mandali charachane. Translation. On that platform, all the most important associates of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, as well as important men, sat down in a circle around the Lord. From until 660. Ramdas Sundarananda Dasa Gadadar, Murari Kamalakar Sadashiva Purandar. Translation. Amongst them were Ramdasa, Sundarananda, Gadadhar Das, Murari, Kamalakar, Sadashiva, and Purandara until 661. Dhananjaya Jagadisha Parameshwara Das, Mahesh Ghori Das, Oda Krishna Das. Translation. Dhananjaya Jagadish Parameshwara Dasa, Mahesha Ghori Das, and Hoda Krishna Das were also there. 662. Uddarandatta adi yata nijagan, upare vashila sabasab kekare ganan. Translation. Similarly, Uddarandat Thakur and many other personal associates of the Lord sat on the raised platform with Nityananda Prabhu. No one could count them all. Purport. The devotees mentioned herein are described by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura in his Anubhashya. For further information, one may consult the following references in the Adi Lila, Ramdas chapter 10, text 116 and 118, and chapter 11, text 13 and 16, Sundarananda 1123, Gadadhar Das 1053. His full name is Murari Chaitanya Dasa. and he is a personal associate of Nityananda Prabhu. Thus, one should consult chapter 11, text 20, Kamalakara 1124, Sadashiva 1138, Purandara 1128, Dhananjaya 1131, Jagadisha 1130, Parameshwara 1129, Mahesha 1132, Gauridasa 1126, Hoda Krishna Dasa 1147, Uddarana Datta Thakur 1141, from Mantra 663. Shuni Pandit Bhattacharya Yatavi Proela, Manya Kari Prabhu Sabare Pupare Vasaela. Translation. Hearing about the festival, all kinds of learned scholars, brahmanas, and priests went there. Lord Nityananda Prabhu honored them and made them sit on the raised platform with him until 664. Dui mrit kundita sabara rigidela eke dugda chida ade dadi chida koela. Translation. Everyone was offered 2 earthen pots. In one was put chip rice with condensed milk, and in the other chip rice with yogurt, until 665. Raga vavasana dui kundi deoya ela, raga vad vivida chidatare vijaela. Translation. Lord Nityananda made Raghava Pandit sit down and had 2 pots delivered to him also. There were 2 kinds of chip rice soaked in them. From Antilila 676. Sakala lokera chida purna ya behoela. Dhyana tabe prabhu maha prabhure anila. Translation. When chip rice has been served to everyone, Lord Nityananda Prabhu in meditation brought Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In some of the pictures that Ram Raghava Prabhu displayed in the beginning, there's the picture of Lord Nityananda, and there's a very slightly faint yellowish picture of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is what we're talking about. That Lord Nityananda brought, by his munificent power, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to watch the festival. Mahaprabhu rela diki nitai utila, tandrelana sabar chida diki tilagila. Translation. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived, Lord Nityananda Prabhu stood up. Then they saw how the others were enjoying the chip rice with yogurt and condensed milk. Sakal kundira hol narachida eka gras, Mahaprabhu mukhedena kari parihas. Translation. From each and every pot, Lord Nityananda Prabhu took 1 morsel of chip rice and pushed it into the mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a joke, from until 679. Asi Mahaprabhu areka grasalana, tandra mukhe diya kaoya yarashiya hasiya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, also smiling, took a morsel of food, pushed it into the mouth of Nityananda, and laughed as he made Lord Nityananda eat it, from until 680. Kikariya bedaya iya keanoi jane, Mahaprabhu darshana pa yakona bhagyavane. Translation. No one could understand what Nityananda Prabhu was doing as he walked about. Some, however, who were fortunate could see that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also present. That's it. Very good. So this is the conclusion of our little section honoring and celebrating the beautiful festival at Panihati. Next, do we have time to read a few items about Snan Yatra?
Yes, Prabhu, I'm going to present that, starting with the pictures first.
Okay, good. Let's look at that, the pictures. So if we go further down, this is the Snan Yatra These are pictures of Lord Jagannath, I believe from last year, when they had the bathing festival of Lord Jagannath, Lord Balaram and Subhadra in Jagannath Puri. Very, very special festival. They actually bathed the deities with substances. That this is it here. Lord Jagannath, they pour some yogurt right on his head. Very, very nice. And then afterwards, they give him special medicine because he catches a cold after the bathing. And very, very special ceremony. And everybody can see Lord Jagannath, even non-Hindus. So we'll read a few selected statements explaining where Prabhupada explains the ceremony. Snan Yatra, the bathing of Lord Jagannath. This is from Madhya Lila, chapter 1, text 121. After collecting these books, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri. At that time, the bathing ceremony of Jagannath was taking place, and he saw it. The word anavasara is used when Sri Jagannath Ji cannot be seen in the temple. After the bathing ceremony, Snan Yatra, Lord Jagannath apparently becomes sick. He is therefore removed to his private apartment where no one can see him. Next, we have Madhya Lila, chapter 1, text 122. When Jagannath was absent from the temple, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who could not see him, felt separation and left Jagannath Puri to go to a place known as Alalnath. Alalnath is also known as Brahmagiri. This place is about 14 miles from Jagannath Puri and is also on the beach. There is a temple of Jagannath there. At the present moment, a police station and post office are situated there because so many people come to see the temple. Next, the word anavasara is used when Sri Jagannath Ji cannot be seen in the temple. After the bathing ceremony, Snan Yatra, Lord Jagannath apparently becomes sick. He is therefore removed to his private apartment where no one can see him. Actually, during this period, renovations are made on the body of the Jagannath deity. This is called Navayobana. During the Ratha Yatra ceremony, Lord Jagannath once again comes before the public. Thus, for 15 days after the bathing ceremony, Lord Jagannath is not visible to any visitors. Madhya Lila 1133. After seeing the bathing ceremony of Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washed and cleansed Sri Gundicha temple with the assistance of many devotees. Doing Anavasara after the Snan Yatra ceremony, Lord Jagannath is absent from the temple for 15 days so he can be renovated. They clean him up and repaint him. Madhya Lila 1041. During Anavasara after the Snan Yatra ceremony, Lord Jagannatha is absent from the temple for 15 days so he can be renovated. This occurs annually. Janardana, who is here being introduced to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was rendering this service at the time. The renovation of Lord Jagannath is also known as Navayobana, which indicates that the Jagannath deity is being fully restored to youth. Madhya Lila 1160. When the king asked the Bhattacharya when the bathing ceremony, Snan Yatra of Lord Jagannath would take place, the Bhattacharya replied that there were only 3 days left before the ceremony. So anyway, this is a celebration in Jagannath Puri, which is quite unique. Because what happens is there are many buildings around the platform where Lord Jagannath, Lord Balaram, and Subhadra are put there for the ceremony. And we had the occasion one time of, after payment of a proper fee, to go on top of one of these buildings so you get a direct view of the Snan Yatra ceremony, which is quite amazing how they do this. It's quite unique. And everyone can see it from the street, but from the building, you get a very nice special view. So what we will do now is go on with reading a few selected from the Acharya from the Golden Age, the unique historical position of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda Founder-Ācārya of the Krishna Consciousness movement. I'll leave you enough time to retrieve it, Ram Raghava Prabhu. And my apologies again to everyone for being late. I was having both connectivity issue and finding the proper link. We'll be reading from page number 9, where it's described Srila Prabhupada explains that the Lord deputes some of his devotees to remodel the fallen conditions of human society. I don't think it's that page. Page 9?
That's page 9.
Oh, okay. Maybe I got a different version that you have.
Oh, is this it?
No, what I have is Srila Prabhupada explains that the Lord deputes some of his devotees, here we go, to remodel the fallen condition of human society. Correct. When there are too many asuras in the world, then it becomes a hell for those who are devotees of the Lord. Due to the growth of the asuras, the mass of people who are generally devoted to the Lord by nature and the pure devotees of the Lord, including the demigods in the higher planets, pray to the Lord for relief. And the Lord either descends personally from his abode or deputes some of his devotees to remodel the fallen condition of human society or even animal society. Such disruptions take place not only in human society, but also amongst animals, birds, or other living beings, including the demigods in the higher planets. Bhagavatam 1:1350. Purport AOE stands for original, authorized original edition. I just want to make a brief comment. Many of these purports are indirect references by Srila Prabhupada, where he doesn't say directly himself out of his humility and modesty that I am such a person, but we can see how he is writing that we can deduct very easily, considering his accomplishments and his activities, that he is such a person. Next, the Lord shows his causeless mercy towards the non-devotees and sends his bona fide representative. Quote, the Lord is unmindful of the non-devotees, although he is sitting within everyone's heart as well-wisher and super soul. However, he also gives them the chance to receive his mercy through his pure devotees who are engaged in missionary activities. Sometimes the Lord himself descends for missionary activities, as he did in the form of Lord Chaitanya, but mostly he sends his bona fide representatives, and thus he shows his causeless mercy towards the non-devotees. The Lord is so satisfied with his pure devotees that he wants to give them the credit for missionary success, although he could do the work personally. This is the sign of his satisfaction with his pure Nishkama devotees compared to the Sakama devotees. By such transcendental activities, the Lord simultaneously becomes free from the charge of partiality and exhibit his pleasure with the devotees. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, Text 12. I just want to read something here. We'll go right back to the next quote. A quote from Srimad Bhagavatam explaining the position of acharyas like Srila Prabhupada. This is also in the same topic that we're discussing. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 7, Text 14. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 7, Text 14 in the purport. Narada Muni, Haridas Thakur, and similar acharyas, especially empowered to broadcast the glories of the Lord, cannot be brought down to the material platform. Therefore, one is strictly forbidden to think that the acharya is an ordinary human being. it's very interesting how Srila Prabhupada in different places in his books and conversations and lectures sometimes gives very direct hints and very direct statement about his position and position of similarly great empowered acharyas. Here in this Bhagavatam, this is the story of Narada Muni, who came to visit when Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb of his mother. And the point was, how can a great saint like Narada Muni live with a woman? Because he was basically, Prabhupada is explaining that he is not an ordinary devotee. Prabhupada was also not an ordinary devotee. When I got to Los Angeles in 1970, in July, one devotee told me a story of an incident that occurred at that time in Prabhupada's room. And Prabhupada told the devotee, do you know the difference between you and me? And the devotee says, well, you're a pure devotee. Prabhupada says, no. The difference is, if I was in a room with 10 attractive naked women, I would not be agitated in the least, and you would be agitated. That is the difference. That is the difference between a liberated soul, a Paramamsa, and a neophyte. Let's go back to the next Nitya Siddha discussion on page number 9, I believe. The Nitya Siddha Parshadas, eternally liberated associates, are not ordinary living entities like us. Quote, the personality of Godhead Lord Vishnu descends by his will to the material planets in his innumerable incarnations for particular purposes. And again, he goes back to his own abode. When he descends, he is called an avatara, because avatara means one who descends. Neither the Lord himself nor his specific devotees who come to this earth are ordinary living entities like us. So a devotee this week asked me, well, why are we reading all these same purports, all on the same topic again and again? Now, the question came up recently. A devotee contacted me, and he made an observation that all the problems that we've experienced in this movement are due to the fact that devotees do not understand who we are dealing with, Srila Prabhupada. They do not understand the position, the unique, special position, both spiritually, philosophically, and historically, the philosophical position of Srila Prabhupada. Because it's very important when we read Prabhupada's books, like we've said several times, Prabhupada describes one time that these books are directly the manifestation of God. So this is very important. Prabhupada was empowered to write these books and distribute these books and establish the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we have to remember that. So all of these quotes from Srila Prabhupada are basically descriptions of what is a Nitya Siddha Parsada, an eternally liberated associate and a liberated soul, Mukta Purusha. As we go through all of these purports, we will also discuss these things more and more. Ishan Prabhu, would you like to make some comments about what we just discussed?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. That is it, that Srila Prabhupada explains these things. That means that Krishna himself is telling us who Srila Prabhupada is, because Krishna is writing these books. Srila Prabhupada makes that very clear at different times. When I'm writing, he says, Krishna is right beside me and telling me what to write. So, anyone who's changing Srila Prabhupada's books thinks he knows better than Krishna what is appropriate. There are different places in the Bhagavatam where Srila Prabhupada says that people who are actually honest at heart, people who are honest, they will appreciate these books as they are, even if they're not in the most perfect language. So this is for the honest people. Those who are dishonest, they will have some idea that they can improve on the books that Krishna has written through Srila Prabhupada. So This is why, as Yaśodā Prabhu is explaining, that we have to know that we can relate to Srila Prabhupada, that we must relate to Srila Prabhupada, as we would relate to Krishna himself. That means that Srila Prabhupada is omnipresent. It's not simply that we're following a list of instructions, but no, we're cultivating a personal relationship with Krishna, just as we're doing in the temple. The deity is there. So there's one quote that we're reading repeatedly, that Srila Prabhupada would quote repeatedly from the Padma Purana, that anyone who thinks that the deity in the temple is stone and not Krishna himself, and anyone who thinks that Krishna's pure devotee is one of us, an ordinary man, they have such a mentality that they're going to hell. They're already considered to be in hell, according to this. So we have to understand, we hear so many things, and we say them over and over again. Srila Prabhupada sometimes uses the word hackneyed. We say things again and again, just like in the Panihati celebration. And now let us take, we say this every time we take prasadam, this prasadam to our full satisfaction, and in love call on the help of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. We say this. What does it mean? This means that if we want to take prasadam, we should try to understand the mood of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda when they're taking prasadam, and beg them in love, let me understand what it means to take prasadam. Not that, oh, now the ceremony is done, let's eat, and now we can talk about anything under the sun. I have asked sometimes to the devotees, now we're taking prasadam, can I read Krishna book to you? No, we like to talk. I've seen that. So we have to, not to become hackneyed, but to really understand the spirit and of this movement, that by taking these things seriously, we can be directly in touch with Lord Chaitanya Nityananda, we can be directly in touch with Srila Prabhupada, that he's come from the spiritual world to associate with us. Somebody wrote, I recently read, and I'll wrap this up, that those who were with Srila Prabhupada, they had some special advantage. But actually the truth is, neophyte devotees, they cannot recognize a pure devotee. And so because they had personal connection with Srila Prabhupada in the same room, on the same road, walking, and so many things, because they could not see him for who he is, therefore they have committed greater offenses. Changing his books. I've read one letter where they said, oh, Srila Prabhupada was mistaken in this respect. Now we know how to offer bhoga to the deity. I've seen that in print. This is where the ISKCON people, this is their mentality. This is completely offensive. Therefore, we have to avoid, and we have to really try to enter into the spirit of Krishna consciousness in the way that Srila Prabhupada has presented for us. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Ram
Ram
Raghava
Raghava
Prabhu,
Prabhu,
shall we
we
proceed to the Bhagavatam
Bhagavatam
program?
program.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Before I play
Before I
the
play
video
the
of
video
Jai
of Jai
Radha,
Radha,
I
I
would like
would like
to
to
read the
read the
original
original
translation
translation
from the
from the
songbook,
songbook,
because
because
as
as
Ishan
Ishan
Prabhu
Prabhu
pointed
pointed
out,
out,
and Ishan
and
Prabhu,
Ishan
if you
Prabhu,
could
if you could
unmute your
unmute your
microphone,
microphone, we're getting some
feedback. So I would like to read the translation from the original songbook from 1974, because this video does not have a completely accurate or a complete translation. Sri Radha Madhava have their loving pastimes in the groves, Kunja of Vrindavan. Gopi Jana Vallabha means one who attracts and reciprocates loving pastimes with the gopis. Girivaradhari is Krishna's name in the pastime of lifting Govardhan hill. Yaśodā-nandan is the son of Yaśoda. Nanda means son and is also the name of Krishna's father. So Krishna is also Nanda-nandan. Brajajana Ranjana means the attractive darling of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. He is always playing in the groves, Vana, of the bank, Tira, of the Yamuna river. Therefore, Krishna is also known as Yamuna Tira Vanachari. And the original songbook had this wonderful pastime of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is very fond of this song and sings it just before his lectures. In Allahabad and Gorakhpur, Srila Prabhupada fell into a trance after singing the first two lines, and after some time he came back into external consciousness and said, "Now just chant Hare Krishna." Srila Prabhupada says that this song is a picture of Vrindavan. Everything is there. Srimati Radharani, Vrindavan, Govardhan, Yashoda, and all the cowherd boys.
Sai. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari.
Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajaka Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jayam Swaparam Vibrajaka Sadasyaman Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gaur Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Swami Ito Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Swami Ito Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya, Narayanam namaskritya, Naram cheva narottamam, Naram cheva narottamam, Devim saraswatim vyasam, Devim saraswatim vyasam, tato jayam udirayat, tato jayam udirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead, Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supremmost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Welcome everyone to this reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam to the Canto 1, Chapter 8, text number 17 and 18, I thought. Okay. You have 19? Okay. Maya jamani kachannam ajnanak dokshadam avyayam nalakshyase mudadrisham nato natyadaro yata. Maya, deluding, javanika, curtain, achanam, covered by, agnya, ignorant, adokshajam, beyond the range of material conception, transcendental, avyayam, irreproachable, na, not, lakshyase, observe, mudadrisha, by foolish observer, nato, artist, natyadaro, dressed as a player, yata, as. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, the eternal irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy, you are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly like the artist dressed as a player is not recognized by the less intelligent person. Purport by His Divine Grace. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has affirmed that less intelligent persons or the foolish observer mistakes Lord Sri Krishna as an ordinary man like us, and thus he derides at him. The same thing is confirmed herein by Queen Kunti. The less intelligent persons are those who are rebelled against the authority of the Lord. Such persons are known as the Asuras. The Asuras cannot recognize the Lord by all means of authority. When the Lord appears himself amongst us like Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, or in his original form as Krishna, he performs many wonderful acts which are humanly impossible. As we shall find it in the 10th canto of this great literature, Lord Sri Krishna exhibited his humanly impossible activities even from the days of his lying on the lap of his mother. He killed the Putana witch, although she smeared her breast with poison just to kill the Lord. The Lord sucked her breast like a natural baby, and along with such sucking, he sucked her very life also. Similarly, he lifted the Govardhan hill just like a boy picks up the frog's umbrella and kept himself standing for several days continually just to give protection to the residents of Vrindavana. These are some of the superhuman activities of the Lord described in the authoritative script Vedic literatures like the Puranas, Itihasa, history, Upanishads, etc. He has delivered wonderful instructions in the shape of the Bhagavad Gita. He has shown marvelous capacities as a hero, as a householder, as a teacher, and as a renouncer. He is accepted as the supreme personality of Godhead by such authoritative personalities like Vyasa, Devala, Asita, Narada, Madhva, Shankara, Ramanuja, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and all other authorities of the line. He has himself declared as such in many places of the authentic literatures. And yet, there is a class of men with demoniac mentality that they're always reluctant to accept the Lord as the supreme absolute truth. This is partially due to their poor fund of knowledge and partially due to their stubborn obstinacy as the results of various misdeeds in the past and present. Such persons could not recognize Lord Sri Krishna, even when he was present before them. Another difficulty is that those who depend more on their imperfect senses also cannot realize him as the Supreme Lord. Such persons are like the modern scientists. They want to know everything by their experimental knowledge, but it is not possible to know the Supreme Person by imperfect experimental knowledge. He is described herein as the adokshaja, or beyond the range of experimental knowledge. All our senses are imperfect. We claim to observe everything and anything, but we must admit that we can observe things under certain material conditions only, which are also beyond our control. The Lord is beyond the observation of sense perception. Queen Kunti accepts this deficiency on the part of conditioned soul, and especially for the women class who are less intelligent. For the less intelligent class of men, there must be such things like the temple, mosque, or churches, so that they may begin to recognize the authority of the Lord and hear about him from authorities in such holy places. For less intelligent class of men, such beginning of spiritual life is essential, and foolish men only decry against the establishment of such places of worship required for raising the standard of spiritual attributes for the mass of people. For less intelligent persons, bowing down before the authority of the Lord, as is generally done in the temples, mosques, or churches, is as much beneficial as it is for the advanced devotees to meditate upon him by active service. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Meditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasme Shri Gurave Namaha Bhagavad Vandana Khadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadate Visheshataha Adadanastrinam Dhanter Idam Yache Punaha Punaha Srimad Rupa Padam Bhoja Dhulishyam Janman Janmani Amsho Bhagavato Smyaham Sadadaso Asmi Sarabata Tat Kripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Prishta Chat Karomishvam Vanchakalpa Tarup Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This particular purport by Srila Prabhupada contains many very important fundamental truths. The main point being that Krishna is not obliged to reveal himself to the Asuras. In the Bhagavad Gita, as well as in the Vishnu Purana, there's description that there are two kinds of living beings in the universe. From the beginning of creation, Dva Bhuta Sargo Lokesmin Deva Asura Evacha. From the beginning of creation, there are the Asuras and the Suras, the devotees and the non-devotees, the demons. Now we see in modern society many activities which are the characteristics of the Asuras. All kinds of illicit activities, killing innocent animals, meat eating, intoxication, gambling, all kinds of illicit sexual activities. These are characteristics of demoniac society. Now, great acharyas like Srila Prabhupada, Ramanuja, Madhva, Nimbarka, Vishnu Swami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vyasa Tirtha, Jaya Tirtha, in our Sampradaya, the 6 Goswamis, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and so many others. They're presenting the message of Bhagavad Gita to enlighten the Asuras, to ask them to become Suras, for them to change their Asuric ways or non-devotional ways and take up to the process of bhakti. And this is the amazing, unique contribution of Srila Prabhupada. He came to the West without much money. All of you heard the story. When he came out of the boat in Boston in 1965, he requested the captain of the ship to basically buy a set of books from him so that he would have a little bit of money. He told the captain of the ship, I don't have any money. So the captain said, well, how much do you want for your set of books? He says, $15. And the captain of the ship gave him $20. The Prabhupada didn't have much assets, did not have big institutional support. All he had was trunks of the Bhagavatam and his strong faith in the message of his spiritual master. Why was he coming here? We've seen the poetry that Prabhupada wrote. Prabhupada wrote the poetry on the Jaladuta that if you give me the power to dance and explain to them the message of the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says, please make me dance, make me dance. In other words, Srila Prabhupada is begging Krishna that them coming to a foreign land where people are addicted to all kinds of sinful activities, if you can make the message that I'm presenting, give me the power to convince them. Prabhupada was very humble. He was never arrogant. I mean, there are some amazing descriptions in various conversations where Prabhupada describes himself as just as a peon, as just a messenger. Other time, Prabhupada says, I'm the most fallen. Prabhupada was the most exalted, but yet he expressed, I'm the most fallen. So Prabhupada was very, very humble. He came to America with a very important message. How he gradually presented this message, this is the unique empowerment. It's called Shakti. This is very important. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita and the Madhya Lila, there is description in the instruction to Sanatana Goswami of what is a Shakti Avesha avatar. We are reading in these various citations from the books how Prabhupada described that Krishna sends his empowered representative, his personal servant, his specifically chosen devotees to bring the message. Prabhupada was such a person. And it's very important not to be victimized by the false propaganda of those who have misunderstood the message and misrepresented the message of Srila Prabhupada. Those who taught that Prabhupada was just a worker for hire never understood who Srila Prabhupada was. Otherwise, they would never even verbalize such nonsense. This is very important. In the Bhagavatam, in the later cantos, I believe 7 or 8 canto, Prabhupada described in one purport, one should stop seeing the spiritual master as an ordinary man. Well, why would Prabhupada make such a statement around 1975 or so? Because he was aware that there were many devotees and disciples who were thinking that he was an ordinary man. That's why he's using the word, one should stop thinking the spiritual master an ordinary man. Now, this is a very important point, because some people think they've got everything. Oh, here's very nice. This is a purport from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The Shakti Avesha avatar is categorized into 1, forms of divine absorption, Bhagavad Avesha, like Kapila Deva or Rishabha Deva, and 2, divinely empowered forms, Shakti Avesha, of whom there are 7. 1, Sheshanaga in the Vaikuntha world, empowered for the personal service of the Supreme Lord, Svasevana Shakti. 2, Anantadeva, empowered to bear all the planets within the universe, Bhudharana Shakti. 3, Lord Brahma, empowered with the energy to create the cosmic manifestation, Srishti Shakti. 4, Chatusana, or the Kumaras, specifically empowered to distribute transcendental knowledge, Jnana Shakti. 5, Narada Muni, empowered to distribute devotional service, Bhakti Shakti. 6, Maharaj Prithu, specifically empowered to rule and maintain the living entities, Palana Shakti. And 7, Parashurama, specifically empowered to cut down rogues and demons, Dushra Damana Shakti. This is from Madhya Lila, chapter 2246. We see in a description of Narada Muni how he's got the Bhakti Shakti. Srila Prabhupada was empowered with many such potencies to distribute Krishna consciousness. In the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 11th canto, there are descriptions how pure devotees are empowered with all mystic powers, all mystic siddhis. One of the powers that Srila Prabhupada was endowed with was the ability, this is a power of yogis, to read somebody's mind, to enter their mind, to understand what they're thinking. Liberated souls also have the power to see past, present, and future. Now, this is a very important point, because sometimes people will ask, well, if Prabhupada knew past, present, and future, Why did he do this? Why did he do that? Why did he put such and such persons in such position? Well, for one thing, Prabhupada is not God. Prabhupada has power to see, but it's not like the power of Vishnu or the power of Krishna. Pure devotee has vast powers, but the pure devotee also sees everyone as a servant of Krishna. In Mahabhagavata, sees that everything is a servant of Krishna and tries to engage them. He is Paramamsa, sees everybody equally. He does not discriminate between the envious, the pious, the good, the bad. He sees everyone as spirit soul, engages them in Krishna's service. This is a very important point, because there are many statements in Srila Prabhupada's books where Prabhupada describes that sometimes when something is inconceivable, we must, according to our current vision, our neophyte vision, we must understand there must be some plan of the Lord. Just like Kunti Devi, these prayers by Kunti Devi are very important. Let me just relate another little story. In 1977, in early May, I had the good fortune of massaging Prabhupada's feet that night for a few hours and assisting him. And one night, he asked me to come over to his head, and he said, you know, these prayers by Queen Kunti, anytime you feel any anxiety, stress, or distress, you just remember these prayers of Queen Kunti. You either read them or chant them or recite them, and all anxiety will disappear. Because these are very, very powerful, very, very sweet prayers, very enlightening prayers for one thing. And we can see in the purport by Srila Prabhupada, he's explaining very expertly and tactfully that only the devotees can understand Krishna. Non-devotees cannot understand Krishna. But the pure devotee is so compassionate, so merciful, that he will even attempt to convince the non-devotees to appreciate Krishna, to chant the name of Krishna and worship Krishna. So thank you very much. I'll be good enough for me. Where is Ishan Prabhu or Ram Raghava? Would you have a comment to make?
Go ahead, Ishan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So, why does Srila Prabhupada appoint people who would change his books? Why does Srila Prabhupada appoint GBCs who would change everything? What Srila Prabhupada, there are different angles of vision, but Srila Prabhupada says that he did everything he does. There's one conversation with a reporter, and Rameshwar is saying that, and Srila Prabhupada is saying that, yes, Krishna tells me who to make a temple president, and Rameshwar says, interjects and says, what Srila Prabhupada means is that God gives us intelligence, and in that way, we make our. Srila Prabhupada, no! Krishna tells me directly who to appoint. So why he does? Why did Lord Shri Krishna put the Pandavas into the forest, being why did he have Draupadi disrobed almost in the assembly of the Kuru dynasty, which we've been reading about? Why does Krishna do? Because Krishna has a plan that these very same people who are making all this nonsense, all these offenses, that they will all be killed. So we have to understand this is also part of Krishna's plan. And so then there was one more that we were reading today. Another difficulty is that those who depend more on their imperfect sense, they cannot realize Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Such persons, they are like a modern scientist. They want to know everything by their experimental knowledge. It's not possible to know the Supreme by imperfect experimental knowledge. He is beyond the range of so what is this experimental knowledge? This is called empiricism. Wanting to use our senses to understand truth. Therefore, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, in his opening remarks to Sri Brahma Samhita, said that materialistic demeanor cannot possibly stretch to the transcendental autocrat. Krishna is the autocrat. We can't make him work according to we have to, who is ever inviting the fallen souls, us, to associate with him. How? Through devotion or eternal serving mood. And then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta says, these people, he's talking about these people who want to use their senses, he says they can pass the whole material creation through their material senses, and still they won't know nothing about God, nothing about Krishna. So this is this is being stated here by Srila Prabhupada in this purport, that means that what is the axiomatic accepting policy of the empiricist? Seeing is believing. When I see it, then I'll believe it. And what is the axiom of spiritual life? Believing is seeing. In other words, not that when I see I'll believe, but rather when I believe, then I'll see. This is the business. So what is that belief? That the deity is Krishna. Srila Prabhupada is omnipresent. That Krishna is present. How? In the sound vibration of the holy name. If we chant chapter 18, teaching the Lord Chaitanya, if we chant with that same respect that the pure devotee has, then that becomes the worship of the holy name, and then Krishna will reveal himself within our heart. So am I just saying, now I have to chant japa Hare Krishna, or am I doing it with that same respect like Srila Prabhupada? So believing is, not that seeing is believing, but believing is seeing. And then chapter 2, last comment. Just try to understand this and contemplate this. Chapter 2, verse 72, Bhagavad Gita. This divine life of Krishna consciousness can be realized in 1 second. Or it may not be realized in millions of births. So what's the difference? Srila Prabhupada, it's only a matter of understanding and accepting that this is a fact. How much we accept this, not that if I do this process for 100 years or 100 births, doing everything mechanically perfect, that one day the bolt of lightning will come and from Krishna Loka and I'll have realization. But if I act on it as this is a reality now, in 1 second, Srila Prabhupada says, you can have it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ram Raghava Prabhu, any questions?
Yes, Prabhu, we have one question. Before we get to that question, I had a personal question. If you could please comment on Prabhupada and compassion, how compassionate he was to all the living beings that he came across and his disciples also.
There was an interesting story in Calcutta where a devotee went to Srila Prabhupada and pays his obeisances to Prabhupada. Oh, Prabhupada, please give me your mercy. And Prabhupada says, no, you give me your mercy. And then Prabhupada explained, I've traveled all over the world, written these books, stay up all night, write these books, and preach. Go out and preach. Do something. In other words, it's not enough for Prabhupada, give me this, give me that, give me your mercy, give me your blessing. Yeah, that's nice. That's good. One should do that. But if we want to understand Prabhupada's teachings, Prabhupada's mercy, Prabhupada's compassion, we have to be willing to do the hearing. And after the hearing comes the Shravanam Kirtanam. Kirtanam involves preaching. Now, the problem is we have a lot of people who didn't do the proper hearing, and they're doing the wrong kirtanam, the wrong preaching. That's why people come up with these crazy ideas that Prabhupada was just a worker for hire. That means that the people who allowed this nonsensical blasphemy did not properly hear from Srila Prabhupada. People who tried to change Prabhupada's words, Prabhupada's teachings, Prabhupada's sacred books. That means they did not hear properly. They will say, oh no, we're not changing, we're just editing. No. You have no authority to edit what he did. During his manifested presence, he allowed it. But even during his presence, some people were editing his books without telling him after the first editions, claiming they were going to do better English. Prabhupada did not like it. That's why in 1977, on the 22nd of June, 1977, Prabhupada really gave his compassionate verdict. The next printing again should be the original way. When Prabhupada found out that some of his disciples were re-editing his books during his manifested presence, he told them to stop it. They cannot change anything. They didn't stop it, they doubled down. So if one wants to claims that he wants the mercy of the Guru and the kindness of the Guru and the compassion of the first compassion is to submissively hear, not just calculated selectivity that I hear what I want and then I'll reject what I don't want. That will not work. That will not work. Yes, Ishan Prabhu, please.
Talking about Srila Prabhupada's kindness, I was in the Calcutta temple maybe around 72, 73, and it was before bed. We were all lying on the porch, big marble porch, and on the sleeping mat, and I was reading Krishna book, and I noticed somebody's looking over my shoulder, and I'm looking up. Behind me is Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada saying, what did he say? He's looking to see what I'm reading. And what did he say? He said, thank you so much. Just like that someone's reading his books. We talk about give me your mercy, but we have another phrase, that's half of the phrase. Causeless mercy means that you can't earn it, you can't buy it, you can't deserve it. It's there for everyone. But how? So what is it? It means causeless acceptance. That if we accept that mercy, it flows to us. And if Srila Prabhupada said, if you're sitting in the room and the shutter is closed, if the sun is shining, you're not going to get the light. And if the shutter is open, so that the sun is always there. Srila Prabhupada's mercy is always there. So then we have to be receptive. That is that to receive that causeless mercy. And prema bhakti, from him, this love of Krishna emanates. Avidya vinashayat. And if we can receive it, stow it in our heart, cultivate, our ignorance is destroyed. This is Srila Prabhupada's kindness, that he gives to everyone and anyone. It's only a way, hoping that Will someone accept what I have to offer? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhus. Sorry, but we're out of time. We're getting to the end of the class. We do have only one question today from the audience. And this Jairaj is asking, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I have a question. Is taking darshan of Lord Jagannath in Gundicha temple have some special importance rather than taking darshan in the Jagannath temple?
It's both the same, except if you're not the Indian body, you can't get in. I tried and I was almost beaten up because in Jagannath Puri, the smarta Pandits, some of the smarta Pandits, under the influence of a Mayavadi sannyasi, do not allow Westerners, even Western Vaishnavas, to go into the temple. So, but there's no difference between the deity in the Gundicha temple and the deity in the Jagannath temple. The special significance of the Gundicha temple is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself went to that temple and cleansed the temple with his own hands and a broom and everything. And there's amazing purports in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Prabhupada explaining the real meaning of the cleansing of the Gundicha temple. Very, very important purport. We've read some of it a few weeks ago, but at some other point in the near future, we can revisit that pastime because the Jagannath Ratha Yatra in Jagannath Puri is coming up on the 16th or 17th of July. So at that time, we will also discuss that pastime of the cleansing of the Gundicha temple. Very important. But there's no real difference. The same darshan. It's like I had an interesting event one time in Canada, in Toronto. One devotee came to the temple, to my house in Newmarket, an hour north of Toronto. He says, oh, there's a devotee in the temple. He wants you to come take darshan of the deities in the temple. I told him to come in the house, and I showed him my deities, the Govardhan, Krishna Kaliya. I had a Govardhan Shila that Prabhupada personally gave me. I said, there's no difference between this Govardhan and the deity in the temple. We should not be thinking that one is better than the other, or because one deity is bigger than the other. That is not proper thinking. So anyway, that's all for now. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or chastisements or admonishments?
No, Prabhu, I don't see any other questions. If you'd like, we can do the Vaishnava pranams now.
Very good. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. We all offer our respectful obeisances, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Hare Krishna. I want to thank Ram Raghava Prabhu for his dedication to this program, and I apologize again for being late today. I did have connectivity issue and issue with getting the Zoom link for getting the program. And also Andavaya Mataji and her good husband, Jiva Goswami Prabhu, for being very steady with this program, engaged in the distribution of Prabhupada's original book. Rochissa Mataji dans la belle province de Québec, thank you so much for your steady program. Chaitanya Prabhu, wherever you are, thank you so much for attending. Vijay Pandit in Italy, come va Prabhu, come va? Come stai? Bene,
sto bene,
tutto bene.
sto bene, sto bene, sto
Molto
bene,
bene.
grazie. Tutto bene, tutto bene.
Krishna Kata Prabhu in Colorado, who is very active in distributing the Bhagavatam, and Pierre Angelo Prabhu, Rupa Goswami in Bombay, who is organizing a little Ratha Yatra in Bombay, India, on the same day as the Ratha Yatra, and all the devotees who attend the program. I want to make a very brief announcement before we conclude. We are arranging basically a program of arranging to offer not oblations, but offerings to Srila Prabhupada for his Vyasa Puja, which will be in the first weekend in September, 5th of September. So anyone who wants to write an offering, please send it either to Ram Raghava Prabhu's attention or my attention or Rupa Goswami, and we will publish your offering on our website. We'll also be reading offerings on that day. So kindly do so. Even if it's a short offering, it's fine. Somebody asked me, oh, can I just pay obeisance? Whatever you want to offer, express your feelings, your obeisances, your homages to Prabhupada. Anyone can do that. And you are welcome. If you send them to my attention or Ram Raghava Prabhu, we will make sure that it's duly published. Thank you so much. Back to you in the studio, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,